Hello dear friends, it's about time for another astrology video. I thought I would talk a little bit today about Saturn crossing over the Capricorn and Aquarius boundary, which has occurred just about 3 weeks ago, today being May 17th. And when Saturn goes from Capricorn to Aquarius, what he's actually doing in the astral anatomy, which corresponds to the zodiac, is he's going through the descending first chakra, that's Capricorn, and then Aquarius is the ascending first chakra. So Saturn has finished an entire cycle. All the zodiac signs are located along the chakras in the human anatomy. We are mirrors of God's external universe. And when the energy of Saturn, the planet of completion, goes into those first chakra, both negative and positive signs, it's going to cause some kind of death and rebirth. The descending sign would be Capricorn, and the ascending sign would be Aquarius. So the sign of rebirth, or the beginning of a whole new cycle up the spine for human evolution, is the sign of Aquarius. And that's the sign that Saturn moved into 3 weeks ago. But it's an interesting year because in late July it will retrograde. He'll begin retrograding a bit earlier, but in late July he'll retrograde back over the line, back into Capricorn. So whatever's been going on for you, whatever your personal lessons and hardships and growth areas have been since March of 2020, as of today, that territory is no longer being addressed, but it will be again. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to make this video, is just kind of to help us be more aware that whatever was challenging for us in 2020 and 2021 and a lot of 2022, it's going to likely recede for a time. And that time is now. You're getting a taste of what it's going to be like with Saturn in Aquarius. But he's not stable. He'll retrograde back into Capricorn, and double check, let's say, perhaps, that you did actually learn and grow and change and didn't just hope for things to change externally. One of the really sad and difficult things about being an astrologer is that most people come wanting to know when their life's going to get better. And what's sad about that is their life's not going to get better. It's never going to get any easier until we grow and change from the cycle we're in now. Which is why if I'm giving a reading, that's the main thing that I aim for the client to get is, where am I now and how can I improve my life today? Because waiting for a time when it's going to be easier is a false notion. It's never going to get easier. Life is difficult. It's temporary. So let's hold to that. And we can look at the chart and we can see when the cycles might shift. But it's not going to get easier until we grow and change from the karma God has given us. So why is astrology helpful? Because when we go through our ups and downs, it's all temporary. And astrology can help remind us in a very practical way. Look, you've got this retrograde period from late July, and then Saturn will back up into Capricorn until January of 2023, when he finally goes into Aquarius again. So that would relate to your own personal life and your own personal challenges if we had your chart to look at in relation to this transit. So why is astrology helpful? It's because this mind, when it goes through hardship, it projects into the future. Is this going to last forever? Is this never going to change? Is this intense clash of energies not going to improve? And it seems like when we're in the challenge, like it's not going to improve, like it's going to be there for eternity, but it won't be. It's temporary. And astrology, if nothing else, can help us see that everything is a temporary cycle. And if we want our cycles to get better, more enjoyable, more exalted in the divine spirit that we're made from, then we got to use the current one to grow and change. It has nothing to do with anyone external to us or any situation that's external to us. The trouble is ours, and we need to understand humbly and own the karma that we need to work out. Because externally blaming things is postponing your karma. And using astrology to say, well, things will get better in 3 months, so let me just grit my teeth and get through this. That's also not helpful. We have to be insightful and humble into our own unfoldment and say, Divine Mother, what am I meant to learn? I'm your child. I'm not meant to be an adult or know everything. So I need to use this cycle now, whether it's easier than the last one or whether the next one coming up's gonna be really hard. Doesn't matter. What we want to do is grow in God, and that is done through prayer and meditation, which honestly is why I take long breaks from astrology. Someone asked me recently about the eclipse that we recently went through. I have no idea about it because I focus on my Kriya Yoga and my meditation practice. I also have creative work that I engage in, making music and things that get me into the present moment, because it's such a better solution than using astrology to wait for the future to get better. That's a lie. It's never going to get better. It's always going to be a challenge here in this world, which is why God made you have a mortal body, a temporary experience of life. Should everyone learn astrology? I think yes. I think it would be so helpful for everyone to know their own personal chart and to know a little bit more about the inner zodiac and how the chakras work according to the planetary cycles. It's not only fascinating, it's extremely useful when your life gets hard. And if you have enough knowledge of astrology, which I do teach, by the way, I do half-price tutorials for anyone who would like to learn. If you do have knowledge of it, you can also help other people. When they get into the place where the hardship of the present moment seems like it's going to last too long for the present moment to be able to be standed, you understand we're talking about forward projection of the mind. We need to let go of our anxiety about whatever's happening now. Instead, be humbly receptive to what is God trying to change in us. Then your next cycle will be better. So the meditative path, the path of self-transformation, is so much more valuable than astrology. But once you're on that path, astrology can be very helpful in your strides forward and in your perseverance, your willingness to say yes to today's impossible challenge, which you have no idea how much longer it will last. But when Saturn is the karma, when he's in his own houses right now, Capricorn and Aquarius are both owned, ruled, and you could say constructed by the energy of Saturn, the great deity of completing our karma. When this is the trouble, we're going through our deepest fears. We're going through what's going to awaken our Kundalini power. And again, if you wait for things to get better and just try to hide from your karma, that will not happen. But if you face it, as Sri Yukteswar, the great astrologer and wisdom master, says, look fear in the face, and it will cease to trouble you. How can we do that if we don't have an infinite guide, a loving source that's not going to abandon us but always lead us rightly forward? How can we look our fears in the face without an eternal awareness of what we really are? So that's why I say meditation, Kriya Yoga, and whatever yogic path you've been drawn to is infinitely more important than any astrology. But once we're on a path, astrology's very useful. I can attest to that. I don't think I'd still be on my spiritual path if I hadn't learned astrology, because the tests can be severe and intense. And if you don't have any reference point, you can easily fall into forward projection and thus reject the karma God is sending you here in the present moment. So I just thought that these thoughts might be helpful to offer today. I really appreciate you if you've watched this whole video. And I'll try to post some more short astrology videos amidst all the other things that's going on in my life at this time. It's not an easy time, but it is a rebirth. So remember, whatever karma you feel isn't gonna move out of your life, it's just tough and stuck there, accept it. See it as your teacher. And once Saturn enters Aquarius again next January, you may find yourself being reborn into a whole new perspective about that karma. And that's when we've transcended it. It's not when we've outweighted it. It's when we've, you could say, spiritually outsmarted it by saying, what is it that you've come to teach me, great universe? I trust you. So God bless you. Have a beautiful day. And thank you for watching again. Bye-bye.